Okay, so getting into chapter 12.5 is where we start talking about collecting data. And so we're going to talk about samples and surveys. There's two different types of data. One is called quantitative and one is called qualitative. If you have your foldable, you can fill this information out on one of your foldables. But quantitative, the root word there is quantity, and that usually means a number. Quantity. I'm just going to put that in quotations under there. That usually means a number. And that's what quantitative data is data that can be measured in a number and can be compared with other numbers. And then qualitative, that's kind of like something you cannot measure, like the color of somebody's eyes, or when he walked in, he was very sad. You can't measure sadness. It's just kind of your opinion. So that's called qualitative. And I just always go off of whether there's a number there or not. Now that's not always true because, like you can see here, zip code, that's a number, but you can't really compare those. So that's just qualitative data. So example 1, let's talk about qualitative and quantitative data and figure out which is which. Your favorite movie. Well, your favorite movie might be something. My favorite movie is the movie Elf, and that's not really a quantity, so we're going to call it qualitative. And why is it qualitative? Because it can't be measured. B, numbers of students in different schools who take Spanish. Well, I bet there's a few students that we could probably count in this school that takes Spanish, and we could count them and we can compare them to the number of students in the other schools. So that tells me there's a quantity, so it's quantitative. Why? Because it can be measured. Okay, and then football jersey numbers. Well, there's numbers there, but they don't measure anything. They just number the football players. So they're not quantitative even though you have a number. They're qualitative because they can't be measured. Okay? Alright, so cost of CDs. You could compare cost of CDs and measure the cost of CDs, so that one's going to be quantitative. And again, if you want to pause it and see what I say, and see what you think it is before you see what I say, then definitely do that. And eye colors. Can you measure eye colors? No, that's just purely opinion, so that one's going to be qualitative. And I think of the root word of qualitative being quality. You can't measure quality. It's just something that's your opinion. Okay, there's two different sets of data. One's called univariate and one's called bivariate. And one univariate means one variable that's being measured. Like a unicycle has one wheel, and bivariate is two variables that are being measured, like a bicycle has two wheels. Okay? So set A, the atomic weights of the elements in the periodic table. What are they measuring? The atomic weights. The rest of it's just explaining the atomic weights. So that one is univariate. And what is the variable? Atomic weights. And B, the edge lengths and volumes. So I underlined and there because and normally connects two things together. and I have two variables, so that's going to be bivariate. And let's list the two variables. Edge lengths and volume. The reason I'm having you list the two variables is because most of the time if you list them, you kind of justify your answer, and we want to be able to justify what we say, not just say, well, I guessed. Alright, univariate, bivariate. So heights and weights of mammals. That one has the word and. It connects two things together, so that's going to be bivariate, and we've got heights and weights. And then the cost of internet service from several different providers. So, oh, you hear several different, and you think, oh, that must be bivariate because they're talking about more than one. But they're not talking about more than one thing. They're talking about one thing from a bunch of different places. So they're still only talking about the one variable, and that's the cost of internet. You have to really think about it sometimes. They will ask you trick questions. But it's univariate, and your variable is the cost. That's the only thing they're measuring. Alright, this is your got it. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.